Hit it. I'm on the internet.
I'm on the internet.
All right, what up, Jordan?
Hello.
We're here. We're just chatting about life, about our collaborations.
Oh, God.
About Chaos and the Chaos Twins.
Yes.
We have a lot to talk about, but first, I would like you to tell our viewers, however few they are, about yourself, what you do, why you do it, and all that good stuff.
Okay. So I am a kinetic sculptor, and also a dean of visual and performing arts, soon to be dean of arts, humanities, and creative engagement at USAO. I'm also a professor of expanded media and the director of Art Record Studios and Galleries. So I'm wearing a few hats.
If you could say all that in a sentence, what would you say that? What's your title? You just direct everything?
I cannot.
Okay. It's actually impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
And actually, that should be the title. It's impossible.
What I do is impossible.
Yeah.
Represented in high blood pressure and
I
lots
might
of
actually
alcohol.
be a cyborg. There's some speculation about this.
Makes sense. Honestly, I've had questions. Like, I wonder if you're part robot.
Wires. Piano wire.
I don't think you've ever. Do you sleep?
No. I don't have time between my multifarious roles.
Okay, so let's take a look back on your life.
Okay.
We've talked about this briefly, but I am actually curious to go a little bit deeper on like what got you started in art in that whole world. I'm sure there was lots of shenanigans growing up and things like that. But what would you say was the thing that was like, okay, I think I should do this?
I think there were a couple of critical markers. I was literally one of those obnoxious kids that was, 4 years old and I'm like, I want to be an artist. and that, shook out all right. But I think there were some pivotal moments along the way. So I started hanging out with a group of friends. They were absolute pranksters, and I just loved that. I loved misadventure. I still love misadventure. And I think somewhere along the way that started to synthesize with my work. I wasn't always a kinetic sculptor. I started off with painting and drawing and some of those things. And so there was kind of a significant moment where I was doing very figural work, so highly representational works, and right before graduate school, a couple of people came to a show, and it was very complimentary. They said, "Oh, we appreciate how lifelike the faces and hands of these figures are." And I should have taken that as a compliment, but instead I was like, "Wow, I'm completely losing the point with the kind of representation that I'm doing." And so right before I went to graduate school, I sort of posed to myself, well, how do I create the body without the body? And I thought a lot about motion and started designing machines and built a few that were probably disasters, at least in their initial inception. But I mean, it was a lot of, just markers along the way throughout my life that got me there.
Yeah.
And I love every second of it.
That's awesome. Can you move your microphone just a little bit closer to your face?
No.
Can I trouble you to just...
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? I'm on the internet.
I'm on the internet.
While you're talking, just I've got to get some Tums.
It's the artist way.
It's the artist way. You want to hit this?
Yeah. Can I actually? Thank you.
Okay, let's go.
We're chugging Tums.
We got all kinds of stuff today.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's awesome. I'm sure some of your inventions and things that you built were, I don't want to say illegal, but also I'm sure there were some things where your parents were what is Jordan doing? You know, did you ever raise some eyebrows growing up with some of the things that you made?
Oh my God. Well, with my parents, so I'm a preacher's daughter.
Mm-hmm. I know that life.
Yeah. They came to a show. This was a few years ago, and my dad said, "Well, it's we're really proud of you. It's weird, but we're really proud of you," referring to the work. And I said, "Yeah, that reflects me." 2007, annoyed. 2017, still annoyed. 2024, still annoyed. But it hasn't
changed.
No, it's a playful thing. But I actually have been surrounded by a lot of support, whether they get it or not. They know it's a little strange, but they know that it's authentic, and that's important to me. So even though they may not, necessarily understand exactly what it is. They know that it comes from a place of authenticity.
Right. So, okay. So in your pieces, and I've seen quite a bit of them at this point, and they're very intriguing. There's always some sort of mechanical aspect that I've seen, at least.
Yeah.
What would you say, are you like critiquing a lot of the things like in culture or politics or things like that? Or what's kind of like, do you have like an overarching theme in some of your arts, or does it change?
I mean, it does change. I think some of the things that I've been thinking about recently, you know, I'm kind of, I'm in that culture of like middle life, right? So I didn't necessarily grow up with mediaification. So I knew the like before and after. And I think what impresses me so much is that, that while things like intimacy are very available, you can connect with anybody, the pieces that are lacking are empathy, like that true connection. And so I've thought about that a lot, and kind of a challenge to myself that I think continues to this day is utilizing technology to rehumanize technology. Like, I think you can get around the system to do something that gives people that moment of pause. And so I've really enjoyed just, you know, poking those questions.
That's extremely rare because like technology seems to be dehumanizing us more and more, like the further we go on. And we'll talk about AI in a little bit too.
Yeah.
But like we're losing, I feel like, some of our soul the more that technology increases and all of these things. So that's kind of cool take that you have, though.
I mean, I think it's you know, it's kind of a great place to exist as an artist. And maybe, you know, a lot of artists have said this, like, oh, yeah, I'm in the right time or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm in the right time to, like, wait. Let's maybe examine this a little bit further. And so I think it's important in that role to be an artist, to ask challenging questions. So for me, I mean, and I'm kind of an instigator and a misfit and whatever. So it all works out.
So what would be like a recent piece that you're proud of, that you've shown around? What would be like probably the most recent one you've worked on that you're proud of?
I mean, I'm excited about a batch of them for different reasons, but I mean, okay, so I'm going to maybe extrapolate this in a couple of ways. So there was a piece that I showed in Tulsa not too long ago, and that one was a piece that took a really long time. So this isn't necessarily the most recent one, but I think the value of it changes as I've shown it. It's gigantic. It was it kind of has this placeholder for me of being very difficult. So when I started on it, and it took a long time to complete it, was during COVID. And so, I mean, life completely changed. It's like suddenly I went from this very like physical place as a sculpture professor to, all right, what am I going to do with students when it's via Zoom? And so there was this, you know, immediate disconnect for a person like me. And so that kind of started to interfold with my own existence. So, you know, it was an isolated time, and I think was trying to supplement some of that physicality with other things. So I started running a bunch, and which, like, I've been a runner forever, but started running a bunch, and I was teaching a performance class online, and one of those students was like, "You're like looking really different right now." I was like, "Yeah, I've been running," and they're like, "Okay, cool," and like for 2 hours a day.
Oh, dang.
And I know, and that seemed at that point normal, which is nuts. And I injured myself severely. So I blew out both my Achilles. And so like this new kind of aftermath of, you know, COVID, and then I had injured myself, all started to synthesize together. And so I started working on this piece where I was using, it's got over 40,000 bandage clips in it. And I would just sort of methodically bandage clip these pieces together, which was a new material anyways. But it was like this recognition that I was kind of trying to heal myself, I think, but then also heal these pieces in the world that felt so disconnected. And I haven't had the opportunity to show that piece a lot. So even though I started on it then, it's so big, it's so colossal that there aren't even a lot of places that can fit this work. But some of the conversations within that recent space were so rewarding, like an understanding of people trying to heal humanity. And maybe that comes back to some of the tech places. I'm not entirely sure, but just the authenticity of the conversations I had with people in that audience was really, really fantastic. So
that's great.
So that's kind of right now sitting in a high point. I just got back from an exhibition in Estonia earlier this year, and that came with a tremendous amount of hurdles, like getting huge crates.
I've heard some things about this.
I may or may not have been accused of being a Russian smuggler. Literally, I had to prove that my metal in the pieces was not from Russia. Chickasha Industrial, you guys are awesome. Like they literally saved my life, because I called them and I was like, this is gonna be the weirdest conversation of your life, but can you guys prove to me that the metal is from a different country?
Okay, so hold on. You got stopped.
I did.
And they said this metal is illegal here, basically,
yes.
and you cannot have it.
Correct.
And they thought that you had smuggled this material from Russia.
Yes.
And what were they? Were they threatening to what were they doing?
Well, I had just sent this, over 1,000-pound crate over. So all of my work compresses into this box, which was a miracle in and of itself. I mean, there are like screws popping out by a 1/4 inch, and I'm like, well, I hope it ships.
You'll be right. She'll ride.
She'll ride. And so it was like great at first. So it's tracking through, it gets sent out, everything's cool, and then it hits the Estonian border. And I get this, notification like, well, you need to call Estonian Customs. And so when I did, they're like, yeah, well, the new European slate is that you have to make sure that this is not of Russian origin. I'm like, what?
How?
What?
How are you supposed to?
So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, but this is like, this is kind of like how art has always been for me. So in the middle of the night, because I'm in a completely different time zone.
Yeah.
I call a couple of my assistants. I'm like, I need assistance. I need you to go and break into my house and get a couple of receipts that I happen to have saved. So
wow.
Yeah. So that's like thing one is get the receipts for the metal in these pieces.
Go through my house. Find these random receipts, please.
If you have to, go through the dog door. But whatever it takes. And of course, because I'm surrounded by amazing people, they're like, dude, we got you.
Yeah.
Which is thing one, just awesome. And then thing two, it's, from Chickasha Industrial. So I call them, I'm like, hey, can you, show the origin of make? And they were like, yeah, we can do that.
Seriously?
And yeah, it was absolutely nuts. But they okayed it.
Jeez, dude.
On to Estonia.
So Chickasha Industrial came in clutch, bro.
They're amazing. Yeah. I hope that they hear this.
We'll tag them. That's awesome.
Yes, 100%. They were so great to me.
Oh my gosh.
And they probably don't even remember that. Well, maybe. I mean, it was a weird conversation. I'm in Estonia right now.
Here's a weird question. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I know.
I wonder how many times they get asked what's the country of origin for your metal.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah, it was wild.
Well, that's amazing. Jacob, how's the roll and everything right now? Good? I sound okay? How am I sitting? I got in trouble for last time because I was slouching.
Oh, am I slouching? Do we look like lima beans?
Do we look like lima beans, Jacob? Jacob, answer.
Who looks more like a lima bean?
Me or Jordan?
One of us does.
Yeah, which one? Jacob. What the frick, dude?
Oh, yeah, I knew it. I knew you were going to look more like a lima bean.
Give me the Tums so I can throw them.
Don't edit any of this.
Don't edit anything. Yeah, I already knew, when we decided to do this podcast, there's no keeping it on the rails.
No. No,
this is going to be absolute mayhem. I'm going to hit another Tums here. It's been a day. Okay, so let's take a walk down memory lane.
Okay.
Because, obviously, we've been working with each other for a few years now.
Yeah.
And some things have happened. We've done some things. Let's talk about some of our projects.
Yeah.
When we started this collaboration. I don't think a lot of people know the story of when we first...
The OG story?
Yeah, that one. And the whole how about next month thing. So if you could tell that story, and then I'd like to get into some of our projects and how they've progressed and grown, and then this new music project, and then I mean this is a big one, and then the 48s winning that, and having the chance to take a national or international festival, even the recent one too. This is a lot. Let's start with the first Wrecking Ball inception.
Oh man, okay, so I love this story, and I think I think its origination probably tells a language of why we do Wrecking Ball Film Festival anyway.
Yeah.
So I went to see Jim Callan at the EDC, and I was like, man, I really, I would kind of like to do a film festival. I think this would be cool. And immediately he's like, we need to call Reagan Elkins. He's like, do you know Reagan Elkins? And I knew of you. And what I didn't realize was that he literally was going to get on the phone with you right then and there, and you came down the street, and so I started, like, oh yeah, I kind of want to do this or whatever. And you were very excited, and that was fun for me because, like that energy, which I think we still have. It's like one person gets excited and the other does too, and then we're off the rails almost instantaneously. But I believe you said, so when are you thinking about this? You may have said like a year from now.
I said like sometime next year. Yeah.
And I said how about next month?
How about next month? But I immediately knew this was going to be complete chaos. Yeah. But that's what happened.
It was 100% what happened, and it was awesome. And I think that like bringing that energy into it. I mean, you've heard me say this behind the scenes, but like from collaborative circumstance, it's just been like there's an equitability there that was really refreshing and fun. Like, we were awake till all hours of the night and probably fairly strange at some points, but still it was like both of us were really in, and so
we saw the vision. I think that's it's rare too, because I've been in a lot of situations where it's not, I don't know, there's not equal work being done and all those things. You and I both immediately knew what needed to be done. And we just freaking did it.
Yeah.
We made phone calls, we made things happen.
Yeah.
And to our downfall, though, not downfall, I would say, but we do like to do things ourselves. And so the whole delegation thing is difficult for us because we just like doing things.
I thought we were awesome at that.
Yeah, we're great. Yeah, I know. So, but the first year, I mean, it was incredible to see. I think the most satisfying thing with Wrecking Ball Film Festival was that we literally came up with this in a period of 1 month.
Yeah.
Thanks to you. How about next year? How about next month? And we came up with this thing. We pulled it through, and somehow, like, it became this thing, this legend, especially in this community. And I mean, we're hearing people talk about Wrecking Ball in other states.
Yeah.
And in the Tulsa area. I mean, all over this place. And the cool thing is seeing artists who didn't have a way, to express themselves or to even make a little bit of money on the side. Now they can do that in freaking Chickasha, America.
Yeah. No, I think it's really great. And it's been interesting I would say even within the last year, like, I hear about us and people are like, oh yeah, who are those maniacs in Chickasha?
Yeah.
So, but
we've heard a lot of names. Chaos Twins.
Yeah. So this last year we were referred to as the Chaos Twins
Yeah.
in a celebratory way.
Yeah.
Like literally this person was like, you got to just let Reagan and Jordan do their thing. Like no one necessarily understands it, but they'll get stuff done.
Yep.
But it's chaos along the way.
Maybe unorthodox, but we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
But cut to us, however many years later now, getting smacked in the face with giant Wrecking Ball balloons, wearing, horned helmets. So
with
that the
crane.
balloons with the actual crane.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty solid. Where do we go from here, Jordan?
I mean, I have some ideas about that. They might resemble some Miley Cyrus entities. Well,
not me.
It's got to be you.
Oh no!
I know the graphic details are things we'll have to sort out.
We'll figure that out later. We'll blur it.
Blur it.
Oh my gosh!
No, I mean that was a really like rewarding moment because we'd talked so long about like, oh well, we definitely need like a Wrecking Ball.
Yeah. We've thought about doing the Wrecking Ball since the beginning, but never really figured it out.
Yeah.
But luckily we
This year it happened. Yeah.
It happened, bro.
Yeah.
So this is year 4. Mm-hmm. We just did 4 years.
Yep.
Which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And we also did what was really crazy. We had a lot of people, ask the question, like, why the crap are you doing this?
Oh, yeah.
We did another festival all together.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember getting on the phone with you, and I was sitting in some random parking lot thinking about this structure, this 24-hour thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just mayhem. It is chaos. That's kind of our brand at this point. It's just chaos.
Chaos
and
twins.
I was thinking, like, why couldn't we also do this for musicians?
Yeah.
And this idea came about. We're like, okay, what if they wrote a song, produced the track and all of these things, and they had 24 hours to do it? I know that songs can be produced in 24 hours. I know that it's possible. But we didn't know how big of a deal this would become first year. And this was another, let's throw it together in 2 months type situation.
Yeah, we were literally, working on the film festival at the same time. And then it's like, oh, yeah, what we should definitely insert in the middle of the time we don't have is a music festival. But, I mean, I think, if I can advocate for us, even in the mania, it's like when we get going about, this genre that is, whether it's music, film, art, whatever, I mean, just the genuine support of creatives and really recognizing that, this is a place that we can give really amazing artists a platform. I mean, I think that kind of drives us, whether it's, we're staying up for weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Weeks, which definitely happened with this last year.
I think there's a reason why. Like, I'm not saying that all of our projects are super successful or anything. We still have big dreams and we want it to go even further and all those things. I think one of the reasons why they are working so far is that, I'll just say it this way. The other day, I had a meeting with an individual, and this very sweet person, but this person was trying to come up with ideas for artists on what they could do similar to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? And what I found out about this person is that this individual is not an artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're trying to understand the artist's mind. And
Good
freaking luck. Good freaking luck. It's not going to happen. Yeah. But also think about, what are artists going to enjoy? What are they going to like? And all those things. Whereas I grew up in this small town as a filmmaker. There was no one else doing videos. I mean, there were some doing little videos here and there. But I knew the things that I would want in a festival because this is what I wanted when I was growing up here. And you the same way. Like, as an artist, what did we want to see? And so as far as like the opportunities for the music side, a lot of these festivals and things, there's no cash prize.
Yeah.
There's like an award. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, there's some clout and all those things that you get for all those things.
Sure.
But cash prize will help you on your next project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then opportunities, it's not about the exposure, it's actual opportunities, right? Yeah. So we had an opportunity for bands to get an ad placement for the Economic Development Council.
Yeah.
We had opportunity for them to play at the Food Truck Festival. It's a paid situation or paid gig. And then even at our little records festival or awards night, we paid these bands to come in and perform.
Man, and they were so great. Like, I still, like, when I think about the music festival, I'm just washed over by the level of talent we got. I mean, it was just unreal. It's like, I was so glad that we weren't judges because that was really difficult. And I think, too, like, thinking about, like, oh, what would artists want? I think what I've seen people respond to in both festivals is a language of autonomy. Like, we're not trying to whittle at that. Like, everybody has their unique and interesting perspective, but then also providing challenge, community. It's like, we've talked so much about, the sort of like memory stamps of all those things. If you're staying awake at weird hours and whatever, you got to produce a thing, like, you're going to end up with a slice of like, oh my God, do you remember what happened in this hour? That was so crazy,
Yes.
And I think, there are moments of authenticity in that because you're in the pressure cooker, and that I think happens professionally as well as in that sort of like playful dynamic that are what keep us coming back. you know? That's what I'm addicted to, for
stories.
sure. Absolutely. The misadventure. It's the misadventure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've heard dozens of these stories from people that have
Oh my
participated.
God, it's so great.
Yeah.
And we've celebrated so many of those memory stamps from people walking in at the last minute, like, I just ate a whole cake for a video.
And getting kidnapped.
We got kidnapped. Yep.
We got kidnapped.
Yep, we got kidnapped. That was fun.
We fought off a wardrobe piece that we can't even talk about. There's some crazy things that has happened.
Our greatest censorship moment.
Yes. There's been some wild adventures and things that just like we never anticipated would happen.
Yeah.
But that's become part of the legend of this wrecking ball thing and records now, you know.
Yeah.
Some cool stories that we heard even with the music festival is there was a band that was on tour or whatever. They were on their way to a gig. And they were recording the song in their bus.
It was so amazing, and they submitted a short video of them performing the piece that they created, like in the middle of the night, and then they're playing it live in like freaking, I think it was Kansas or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's phenomenal. That was such a cool thing.
Pretty wild.
I know.
Yeah.
Those guys need some serious props. I mean, they couldn't make it to the music festival because they were literally on. Out doing the thing.
Exactly.
But still participate. It was so cool. Yeah.
And it was so cool, though, because we got to see, like, I think our winner was from Jinx, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. We had people drive down from Enid. Mm-hmm. These people were from all over the state of Oklahoma. Yeah. And we were super stoked that even the Oklahoma Film and Music Office were on board as a sponsor this year.
They were awesome, yeah.
So cool to have them a part of this. And that was one of the conversations we had, too, is, like, so many people have emphasis in the film world, and I'm a filmmaker, like you're a filmmaker. We love that world, but I think a lot of times we forget about the music side to a certain degree, and so to have an opportunity like this, to have an event, this was huge for so many comments that we received, which is like, please more of this. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so we have lots of plans. Yes. Lots of plans, even potentially Chaos Twins, potentially doing this again. Yeah. This year.
Sooner than
later. But we will see how that goes. Yeah. So on that same world, you and I, on top of this, film festival thing, we started collaborating on a professional level. I would say that's professional level too, but on like music videos and short films and things like that. And I think we immediately had, I don't know, when I work with you, when I describe what I'm seeing in my head, it's almost like you immediately get it. Yeah. I think we're on the same wavelength for a lot of things, including how we dress sometimes, which is crazy. Yeah. First 48-hour film festival, we show up to get our genre and all that stuff. We're wearing the same exact clothes. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That also happened multiple times. Yeah, right after we did the music festival. I think I ran into you like at Walmart. And we were both
wearing the same thing.
Yeah, literally the same shirt.
Get off my wavelength. So all of these things, but so I remember one of the first projects we worked on was like a randa, and you and Yosef and Mo maybe I think it's primarily you and Yosef worked on. I had this vision for this pit. And obviously we can't dig a hole in the ground. We can't do it like real. So what we did was we built a set. And by we, I mean you guys. And I remember you bought like pretty much every vine that Amazon had.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, more vines, Amazon, please.
Yeah. All of those things. And that was before we did it in the studio. Yeah. It was before it was finished. It still had glue on the floor and all kinds of nastiness. But you guys built this set and it looks phenomenal on camera. It totally worked out.
It was a really fun build, and I mean I like those challenges. I think so a minute ago you said, oh, you're a filmmaker, and I always think, well, I'm an accidental filmmaker. I come from art, but I think what's really great is that sort of synthesis of like, all right, you've got this vision from your perspective, and then I can contribute to that in this other way, and like, so that sort of like meeting in the middle is really exciting to me. So I don't know. I mean, it owns a level of play, but then also like serious professionalism too. Like I don't know if you can really separate the two actually.
I know. There's a lot of play in music videos, especially in short films too. Like there's so much fun that can be had with projects like that. You get to really be creative.
Yeah.
Whereas I love corporate projects. I love being creative even in corporate projects, but sometimes you're kind of constrained to a certain degree. Whereas film or musicians are also artists, and so sometimes you come up with a crazy idea, like we've done for Hinder.
Oh my god!
And you know, I threw out this wild idea, and they were like, "Let's go! Let's freaking do it!" You know, and that was a cool project too. You know, building all the wires and this circular table that you guys built with all these screens that were displaying just propaganda and wild things, and these guys are sitting in the middle of this circular table, just being sucked in. Brainwashed.
That was such a wild project. And I mean, and just like, I think again, that was a moment where we came together and like, all right, we need to build this thing. We kind of figured out the layout, the design. We had so much support around us. You though, on that project, this was a really wild animal for me. You're like, and you're also going to be in it. And I was like, no, I'm not. I like being behind the scenes. And literally, you made me be in it because I have a sneaky face.
I was going to say, can I freaking tell you why? I mean, it was because there's this face that you do whenever you're like, you're being mischievous or whatever. You're like, you have this little look that you do. And I was like, I need some evil look like that for Marshall. Yeah. And then I need you to like push him down and then plug him into this AI system or whatever. It was perfect. You did great.
I was really mad at first, but I will say that on the other end of it, it did give me a new perspective. And like I've heard people talk about like, oh, well, you need to be sort of embedded in different roles in like film community and stuff like that, especially in those like super collaborative dynamics, so that you understand each other, so that you develop this sort of like empathy and language that is very different. And I mean, that was so interesting because it's like, I saw you in a different way as a director, because it's like, you know, I've been on the behind the scenes thing. I saw Marshall in a different way as a performer, and he was awesome. He was like, we're going to do this. And so we like amp each other up, whatever. Or maybe he amped me up because I was really nervous about it. I don't much like being on camera, but it was worth it to see like how different that was to be in that position as opposed to doing the sets and stuff. And I think it gives you a more robust appreciation of every component that goes into a piece. So
that's one of the cool things that I've got to experience over my time in filmmaking is I want to be uncomfortable in some other situations. Like I'm in front of a camera sometimes, I'm behind it, I'm doing some art department things, and it just gets me out of my comfort zone enough that I can respect that world and kind of have an understanding of what they're going through and what they need. The most recent one we worked on, well, there's two. One, we did a 48-hour film, which that hasn't come out yet, so we can't talk a whole lot about that. But Laura Lee, we did, it was a totally different style. Totally different style than what we've done in the past. A lot of the projects we've worked on together have been harder rock bands and things like that. The last 48 that won the Oklahoma City region, was super cool. It was still gritty. It was still very contrasty, you know what I mean? But this Laura Lee Thunder project was a completely different deal altogether. How was that different than some of the other projects we've worked on for you guys?
I mean, so like stylistically, I think all of us have our flavors, right? So I've got a stylistic tendency. I think like the Hinder thing that we just talked about, it's like, wires and chords and tech, let's go, you know? But I like that that you also have to pay attention to and communicate with the artists, like what makes sense for their aesthetic to best celebrate the craft that they're trying to achieve. And so that was a hard pivot on the aesthetics. Not a hard pivot as in like, oh, it was difficult to understand that. It was like, oh, this is a different language for us that we had to acknowledge quickly. And I mean, it was cool because it was a big build for a short time frame, and like getting a group again around us. We have so much support, and those guys are just like so awesome. I can't talk highly enough about just the people around us that support those things. But I mean, we were getting weird, like cutting out trees and making clouds that have like, electrical lightning and stuff like that. But it was a really fun project. Yeah.
By the way, we're going to show all of these while we're talking about them.
Cool,
100%.
Cool.
But one of the cool things, I think this team that we've built for these projects, I think it's cool that we're able to pivot so much. Like, so one of the things that happened a couple months ago is I got invited to talk to a group of musicians at OSU. They have this club for musicians, and they asked me a lot of questions about visuals and music and trying to couple those two things. And what's interesting about music videos is, one, you do have like the artist side where it's like, as a director, here's my vision. But sometimes I encounter, or sometimes, I mean a lot of times, I encounter my vision or the thing that I hear or feel when I listen to the track is in contrast to their brand, right? Because a lot of times people forget that a music video, one, it's an artistic representation of someone's music and of their art in a different format. But two, it's also a marketing piece. Yeah. Right? It's how they're going to get their vision out to their fans and the people around them. Yeah. So sometimes when I encounter, a song and I want it to look this way, but then I look at their website or we talk about branding, I'm like, oh crap, this is not at all, like, it's not going to work, Yeah. And so Thunder, we could have gone a totally different direction. We could have gone somewhere dark, and even though the song is kind of reggae and pop, but because our style has always been a little bit darker and contrasty and all those things. So my vision or my style had to pivot. We had to pivot in order to match her brand. And I think it pulled through. Yeah. I think it totally worked out.
Well, and I think just, like with the festivals and everything, like, that's the agency of flexibility that we're talking about. It's like, we're trying to give people this opportunity to, again, have autonomy, but have flexibility. And it's like, but I think that's so relatable because we come across those pressure points of like, oh, you have to adapt. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, like understanding a broader language is kind of how I think about it. Yeah. And so, I don't know, I enjoy that stuff.
Okay, so speaking about adapting, how has your experience, now that you've dived into this whole film world, how has this process been different than what you're used to? What is this collaborative process like in comparison to?
I mean, I think that there's kind of two ways of looking at it. In some ways, I was really surprised. Like when we started first working on stuff that was outside of the festivals, like so doing the professional stuff, it's really not a whole lot different than like going on an installation and I take a team and it's so predicated on communication. Like I have often described my team on any of the artistic installations, whatever, exhibitions, as a well-oiled engine. It's like everybody is working together towards this common vision. So I think there's some of that. I think that by the same token, there are different languages in it. Like as an artist, and maybe this is where the most significant impact, at least of late, has like, I don't know, been something I've been thinking about, is I think about being somebody that builds sets. So there's an immersive language in art that I think is great, but I've kind of allowed myself to also like, well, what if I do treat this exhibition as a set? What if I do invite people to be the sort of players in this world? And so I've been, it's been really interesting to kind of like lean into that. Right. And like, how do you, I mean, I don't think it necessarily needs to, I don't know, some people would call it this sort of subsidiary level, but it's not that. Like, what if you take those things and you elevate them to utilize them in this way that becomes more immersive for viewer participation, an audience? Like, what are their experiences? Even like character arcs. Like, you lump people into this exhibition space and you're like, yeah, your character's going to change as you go through this process. Yeah, wow. And so I think those things are what I'm thinking about right now that have been really impactful and really interesting and exciting. And I don't know.
Your audience kind of becomes the actors.
Oh, they're performers,
That's legit.
And it's not even like, I'm not trying to manipulate people into that. It's like, I'm inviting them into that. And I think that's what becomes different. And in the same way that when you're working on film, every player is invited into that place because you have to each have your own sort of agency, but then work towards a common vision or work towards a common theme. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the difficult part for a lot of people, because we all have our pride and our our
Sure.
vision and all that stuff, but it comes down to what's the overall vision? What is
Right.
what is the script telling us?
Yeah.
And director, producers are kind of the gatekeeper for all of that stuff, and everything has to kind of go through that. But at the same time, like, crew members are hired, at least I hire them, because of their their vision too.
Right.
I trust that what they're going to put out is going to be legit, and they're going to have a great vision for this as well. And I think that's really cool. That's kind of where the collaborative process works. It's not that the director is pulling anyone along. It's that that director is helping understand the vision for the script
Right.
and the story as a
Right.
whole, And so I think that part is really cool. As far as like your process though, like your creative process, how would you describe, even for your own installations, all those things?
Yeah.
How would you describe? I mean, you might use a word chaotic too for this too, but I'm curious to know, like, how does for your installations, what is your creative process, and then how has that been different with
Yeah.
the film world, if it's different at all?
Okay, so that Tom Waits song, "What's he building in there?" Those sort of like, that is my creative process.
Okay.
What's he building in there?
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of it is chaotic. I like the experimentation. I mean, obviously you have to have an end product, but like, I am infatuated with prototypes. I think that's the language of learning that I'm kind of addicted to. Like, if you have these small scale things where you're like, okay, well, I understand this physicality. I mean, I'm a kinetic sculptor, so it's like you engage with that world a lot. But I like to try things or push that line. I've sort of described myself as Newton's Delilah on a regular basis, like, gravity, good night. But I mean, I think like just pushing those things around so that you end up in new places is really exciting for me. And a lot of my assistants make fun of me because there will be that sort of like midnight hour like snap. And I think that you have to allow some intuitive process. So like literally just this last weekend, I was shooting a piece or whatever for documentation. It had this like white sterile background. And I mean, I'm turning a proposal in at 11 o'clock that night. It hit 7 p.m. and I was like, the wall needs to be yellow. I'm going to go paint that right now.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I think 9 times out of 10, if you follow that instinct, as chaotic as it might be, it changes things. Like, there is something to be said for taking that gamble, for taking that risk. That is, I mean, that's what keeps me an artist. It's like it's a new adventure every time, or misadventure. So I think some of that, on the art side, I don't ever want to try to tackle a piece that I know exactly how to get to the end.
Yeah.
Because I'm then just regurgitating the same thing that I've been doing forever. I want to be challenged. I like challenge a lot.
Interesting.
And I think in the same way, in the film world, it's like you were just talking about Laura Lee.
Yeah.
This is not familiar territory. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that. I want to see what that looks like so that I'm flexing those muscles past what they've experienced before. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
So
I think there's something very, I don't even know how to say this, but there is a challenge that I just absolutely love when my vision or my typical style is challenged by someone else's vision or brand or something like that. And then you have to just change all of these things about what you would have done.
Yeah.
And totally alter everything, the whole direction.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a fun aspect of what we get to do.
Right. I mean, it's being part of a larger creative ecosystem. Like, you have to recognize that there's talent that's going to hit in multifarious ways. And like, you should look at that, like, I think not discrediting what others are doing or what they're saying. I don't know. I don't like the territorialism that can happen in the arts sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't have any understanding of that. I don't stay in my own lane very well because I'm always curious about what other people are doing. Like, oh, that's really interesting. I would like to take a peek and maybe pull some components from that. And I think that's what keeps it exciting.
I do too. I think that's true. I think also like that's kind of what our collaboration, how it makes it a little bit different too, is because we are able to pivot when we need to.
Yeah.
It's not just like we have one style, one thing. And a lot of artists just have their thing, and that's kind of what they're known for. But I like being able to change it up a little bit. I think there's some fun there. Yeah. You know. So yeah. Okay. So I have some more questions.
Okay.
We talked about your creative process. We've also talked about kind of our projects, which have been super fun. And I can't wait for people to see this new 48 that we just did.
I'm so excited.
It's freaking wild.
I got adopted on the stunt team, and that's the thing.
I mean, we implemented quite a few things that we are not used to, and that is stunts and all kinds of other things. But it was extremely fun.
Yeah, a lot of talent on that set. Too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
a lot of talent.
That crew was amazing.
It was awesome.
So I can't wait for people to see that. Okay, I want to take a hard turn.
Okay.
You know, we've talked about where art, you know, our art. I kind of want to talk about like what the future of art could look like. And I think this is where we could kind of bring in artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And you and I are both very opinionated on this topic. I think we see eye to eye quite a bit. I'm in a place where, as a filmmaker, even the software that we edit our projects on are adopting and implementing AI tools.
Yeah.
Right. So Adobe Audio Enhancer, I have used this for utility purposes, not for story purposes. There is now, you know, in Photoshop, there is generative fill, which has saved a lot of people a lot of time and a lot of money. Sure. Used to have to hire somebody who's a professional to hide, you know, Karen in the background or whatever that looks like. Now you can just replace Karen, you know. Then you have, like, now in Premiere even, you have generative extend.
Yeah.
So you can have a video, we could be sitting here, and let's say Jacob cuts too early or whatever, you can extend the video out, and it'll, you know, artificial intelligence will analyze it and extend it to make it look as well as natural as possible.
Sure.
So there are a lot of tools that are coming into play in our world that implement AI, for better or for worse.
Sure.
I'm curious to hear from your world what your thoughts are on AI and art.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think humanity has grown alongside its machines for a long time. I mean, and my work preceding this sort of rise of AI has really dealt with, you know, what does that look like? One of my favorite quotes, and I've used this a lot at artistic lectures, is from the Nuremberg trials about machinic sort of use, right? And so Speer, the minister of armaments, basically, in the Nuremberg trials, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically, it wouldn't have been so bad had humanity been the middleman. So I think for me, it's like, yeah, there's no stopping it. Like, it's out there. It's doing its thing, whatever, for better or worse. But I think that, you know, to maintain those things, like I talked about early in this podcast of empathy and humanity, it's like you need to think about those things. It's like I think that there is something to be said for this conveyance of free will in media, right? So, you know, I get on my Googler and you get on your Googler and we're searching the same thing, but with different results because of that sort of you know, surveillance mechanism, not to sound too, you know, off the rails with that stuff or whatever, but we know that's there. Like, so there is that sort of media feedback loop. So not to be seduced by that language of, you know, where it feels like free will, but recognize, like, what are the political agencies behind this? Who's the benefactor? And I think that there has to be a thoughtfulness. And I think that's where art is actually, for me, really exciting. To be that agent of, like, wait. Let's maybe look at this. Let's put a magnifying lens on these particular components. I think for me, that's really exciting. You know, it's not going away. But I think what humanity does with it and understanding their responsibility as the middleman, which is a vast, important interesting role has to be at the forefront of everybody's mind.
Right. Yeah, no, I see that too. I mean, our data is constantly being gathered and then reused for certain ways that we search the internet, and it's being customized to, for our preferences or whatever that looks like. I think in AI, there's a lot of benefit, I think, even to a certain degree in that. I think in the art world, though, there's a lot of negative as well that many of people I'm sure you're surrounded by are scared. I don't know if that's the right word. About what AI could do, even on an economic side too. Like, are they going to take my job? Like, what is AI going to do? What's the impact? And so, what do you think maybe the negatives of AI could be in the art world?
Well, I think that there is a lot of language, obviously, about where it's going to take people's jobs and things like that. Like, I think graphic design is certainly at the forefront of that. But I think again, I think you have to kind of hit it face on, all right, well, where do we adjust this sort of agency of tool? I think that, right now, and not to say this would always be the case, you get a lot of very generic, feedback from AI. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of tech philosophy that talks about the sort of aura of the hand, and will we ever get away from those things? There may be places where that becomes more important. It's like, even in some of the exhibitions that I've done, I've had people ask me about that balance of, okay, so like you have the ability to do 3D printing, you have the ability to laser cut and whatever. And I use that on a pretty regular basis. But there's a balancing act of like, where do you maintain that sort of sense of humanity, that sense of empathy? One of the first pieces that I made as a kinetic sculptor, it was a disaster, right? So, I had this, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the coolest idea. I think I understand the mechanization, And I built this thing, and it failed miserably, but it was such a beautiful failure. So what was really a standout point and affected the way that I create work significantly is people felt something for this thing. It was this squawking, awful, like a motor was squeaking in ways that I still can't explain. It's like, it's unplugged. I don't know why it's doing that, But the way I saw people engage with that, there was something so beautifully human about it. I didn't even know it at the time, but it's like I was awkwardly composing this thing, and I had no experience in that world. And that translated. That human component, that beautiful failure, it was there. And people responded to that so significantly. If something is too sterile, then it doesn't land that effect. It doesn't land that effect of meaning. And so I think that there's a balancing act to do. And again, I like the role of artists in the middle of that. You pay attention to a system and poke at it. That's what we're pretty good at.
Absolutely. That was our 48 in 2023.
Oh my God.
We were poking at the whole AI was, it's still, emerging right now, but it was at the forefront of that. And, the whole idea was that the more you use this AI beast, the more you become it.
Right. Yeah.
The more you're giving your soul away.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree too, I think there are benefits. And I've talked about the utility behind AI and things like that. I am worried though, and you speak about like the humanizing elements too. When I see like an AI piece, whether it's a film or whatever, or story, it almost feels like, I don't know, there's something missing. Like there's a lack of a soul. You know what I mean? Yeah. But on the other hand too, even like the story of like WALL-E, that Pixar, is it Pixar or Disney, whatever? It's like Eva, like straight up, like this little robot. It was written by humans, it was animated by humans, but we have some sort of empathy for this little robot. Probably because we have the feelings and the emotions and all that stuff, not that it does or whatever. But I feel like that's probably, eventually where things could go, because artificial intelligence is going to be implemented into robotics and all of those things. And you know a lot about robotics with what you do. And so implementing these types of things, I think we're going to see more and more humanized animatronics and technological, whatever it may be. And I think that's going to be a cool thing. Mm-hmm. But I do think there's something separate too that we will be able to recognize when something is fully human.
Yeah.
I mean, besides just the material. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think there's something deeper. And I'm not even sure how to communicate what that is.
You know, so a really interesting thing that one of the scientists that I work with at USAO said, and this was just such an interesting dynamic thing that he said in the middle of conversation was, you know, it's like just because you have the technology to do something. So he was referring to cloning, and you know everybody remembers Dolly and that you know whole thing. It's like we had the ability to clone humans. We had that ability. What put the sort of brakes on it, and he was really advocating for interdisciplinary, which is what the college represents. What put the sort of squash on that was the humanities component. The all right, but what does it mean to be people? And when do you say just because we can doesn't mean we do. Doesn't mean that we enact that. Yeah. And I think conversations like that are really exciting. And obviously there's going to be multiple parameters on that, what does and what doesn't go, and heavily debated. But I think it's really important to be a part of that conversation and wait. Again, it's the idea of being the middleman, woman, whatever, to say, well, I would actually like to look at this further and think about the larger philosophical implications.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. And that's, I think we're losing some of that humanity to AI and to technology. But I don't think we should be super scared of it. I've been really scared in the past.
Yeah.
But I saw a piece recently by a friend, and this friend, he's an artist. Mm-hmm. He's a graphic designer. He is an animator. Mm-hmm. He can do it all, right? So all of the things that he put out, he could do by himself.
Right.
What AI was able to do for him was to streamline the whole process. Mm-hmm. And so basically what he did was he created this short film, mm-hmm. and he drew the pieces, the two-dimensional characters. Mm-hmm. And then AI analyzed the characters. It animated the characters. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't perfect because whatever AI kicks out is what you have.
Right.
And so he then had to go into Blender or After Effects and all those things and frame by frame fix those errors or fix those inconsistencies or whatever that looks like. And so it became this hybrid method of creating an animation that may have taken 6 months, but really it took a month because he was able to utilize AI. And I don't know, to me that's kind of a gray area, but at the same time, if he was paid to do that, he would still be paid to do it. Yeah. It's not like we have removed the artist altogether in that scenario. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think the biggest issue with a lot of the artists that I speak with is, well, okay, you're just going to use AI and you're going to not hire an artist altogether. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't disagree with artists implementing AI to the degree that they're not losing their soul to a certain, you know what I mean? Like you're not replacing yourself and you're just typing some things in and then hoping whatever comes out is just going to work out and then you send it to the client. You know what I mean? Like there's still a customization. You still want it to be your vision and all of those things. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on a scenario like that?
Well, I mean, I think that, as an educator, I think a lot about, well, how do we train people to conceptualize and conceptualize intelligently? So I think that it's like we're looking at this divide where you show people how to do that. And I mean, their market is going to be AI. There's no getting around it. So how do you land at the frontier of conceptualization as opposed to this other idea, which is pretty common in that dynamic of, well, people just aren't going to be able to think. Well, okay, so I mean, there's two paths to that, and so I think about that a lot as far as prompt engineering is obviously going to be a thing and is a thing. Mm-hmm. So how do you set yourself apart with a new tool? Right. So I think that there is a component of that requires that thoughtfulness, that requires that care, that you can't just, like you said, type in a script and go, well, that's good enough.
I know.
Yeah.
There was a a company, and we'll get off AI in a second, but this is a hot topic. There is a company that I follow on Instagram, and they really boiled my blood when they posted this reel that said how to implement AI into your film business. And number one on the list was type in ideas or whatever for this client into ChatGPT for creating, certain videos or whatever that looks like. So one, they did that. So the whole idea began by AI. And then you get AI to storyboard for you. And then you get AI to do this and that for you. And basically by the end of this thing, AI has created this video.
Yeah.
The reason why, for me and for Intellego Media, we try our very best to not implement AI to that degree.
Right.
The first ideas for a music video, I don't want to even touch anything like that. I want whatever comes to my mind naturally. And I think you and I kind of have the same visualization in our minds. When I see an art piece or I see a music video, I close my eyes and I watch it.
Yeah.
Right? And I can really visualize. Does that change when you're on set? Of course. But I don't know, I'd have this thing where I can see what I want to create in my head, even though I have a terrible memory and I can't remember anything visually and things like that. But for some reason, if it hasn't actually happened, or if I'm daydreaming about a project, I can watch this thing happen. And I know I want to keep that.
Yeah.
Because that sets me apart as an artist.
Right.
Whereas everyone else is already implementing AI to a certain degree. Not that I will never, utilize it even more so than I am now, but I don't want to lose that.
I think stray ideas matter, and I think that's really exciting to me. Is like AI notoriously has this generic aptitude of like, all right, this is the culmination of a bunch of thoughts, right? Well, so then it's kind of washed out. It's very neutral. But I mean, I'm even thinking about when we got that recent, prompt and everything for the 48. It's like we all sat in a room together. But what stood out was like, we're all going to have these kind of like base ideas based on, the information that we're given. Like there's a starting point, right?
Yeah.
But what started to make it pop was a stray idea.
Yep.
Built on a stray idea. On a stray idea. So you start to separate yourself by coming up with these just, I mean, you can't get away from the anomalous things that humanity can provide because we're kind of like built wrong, probably. But
we're spacey. we're kind of random.
Yeah. But also I think just like the uniqueness of our experiences, I mean, there are a lot of debates in art, especially in the educational world, about like, all right, you sort of put some of the like, I mean, you teach a bunch of 18-year-olds, you're going to get some emotions and stuff like that in the classroom, whatever. That happens. And there's an idea of like, well, you push that aside and you do this thing that is intellectual and whatever. And while I think that that's not a bad thing to like intellectualize the process, why would you ever forfeit those unique and interesting perspectives? Like I love when students throw something at me that I'm like, that is so strange.
Like, what the heck?
That is so strange, and I think you should chase that dragon as far as you can because I've never heard of anything like that.
Yes.
Because they have this unique perspective. It's like, I get universal appeal. I get that you have to speak a language that seduces viewers to make it work. Like, you've got to find that place that does affect humanity and allows people in. But that is not at the cost of a forfeiture of your unique and very individual language.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, all that stuff starts to apply in tech language too.
Yeah, and that can be done without AI. And I think a lot of times because we have access, it's so easy whenever we're in a rut and you get that block. Yeah. You can just pop up AI and type in some things and it's easy to get out of that. But I think some of the most unique projects come from that space.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? When you're at a roadblock and you're like, what am I going to do? And then
we've shared a few.
Yes,
of those.
absolutely.
Like,
we have.
Oh, this is off the rails.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And then you come up with this idea. It's random. It's out of nowhere, but that's part of being human. Yeah. I think what I loved about our 48 too is that we didn't use AI.
No, we didn't.
Not at all.
No. I don't think anyone even thought of that. Actually,
No.
we were so excited about that conversation.
Right. You get 20-something people in a room. We're going to come up with an idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There wasn't a moment where we're like, oh, this is not going to work. We're going to have to resort to AI. I loved that side. So, okay, let's move off of AI. I think there was some great stuff in there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost finished. Thank you, Jordan, for your time.
You're very welcome.
I want to know, like, who are some of your, like, inspiring figures? Maybe there are other artists. Where do you kind of look to for your inspiration?
Man, that's such an interesting question. Like, I feel like, I obviously have professional influence artists that I love and appreciate and, would just like hang out in a room with their work all day long. But I also feel like I'm so inclined to pay attention to those like kind of quiet corridors. It's like, I had a student several years ago, and he was like, "Dude, how do you just maintain the energy? Like, you're always excited about new projects," which is true. And I said, "Dude, it's all about secret dedications. It's paying attention to those little things along the way. Like 9 times out of 10, each of my pieces is influenced by some tiny interaction that I happen to witness." And I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. That's such a testament to what human beings are capable of. So I don't know that I can answer that from a really specific place so much as like just paying attention to those like quiet moments that a lot of people would overlook, I think is way more exciting. Of course, like I had such a lucky slate of professors. Man, I had some real powerhouses. I went to Florida State for my master's degree, and it's pretty exciting to be one of those people that gets to say like, oh, I have living heroes. They were so great. They pushed me in all the right ways. So I had a really great experience there. I have colleagues that I feel like they push me in that way. I have students that I feel like, man, that thing you said was so impactful.
Yeah.
I had a student several years ago, like when I first came to USAO. I mean, this was like 12 years ago. And I was doing these pieces in kind of a monochromatic way. And she came into my office and she was like, dude, you're kind of funny and crazy. And I was like, thank you, I think. She's like, but like the work doesn't say that. It says a more sterile language. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And that absolutely changed the trajectory of my work. It was like she pointed out this place of like, no, you can authentically be you. That sort of looped in all of my affinities for pranking and stuff like that. There was a level of play that came into the work at that moment where I feel like I'm constantly playing pranks and making artwork and saying, sincere things all at once. It's like this fantastic amalgamation of things. But I think that question, I mean, I've been asked that a lot at different exhibitions, but it's those quiet things like secret dedications to like these individuals that may not be on some sort of big platform, but like I see you, and that's really, really cool to me.
That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We should talk briefly about kind of what's next for our collaboration as well.
Oh my God, what are we doing next year? What are we doing in a month?
What are we doing next month?
What are we doing next month?
I think what's really cool is like we know that we want to continue obviously the projects that we've already started. And then, we're just texting yesterday and we have these random ideas of other things. Like, I think that's one of the cool things. And I love our collaboration. You become one of my best friends in the whole world. But it's like you are on, like, as far as energy and all of these things, you are constantly coming up with ideas in ways that, things that would be beneficial for artists and how we can even grow the community on an economic standpoint, like different reasons, like for all these things that we're doing. And like for the music side, I can't wait to see where this records project goes. Yeah. Because I think that, there's some things that are coming to my mind, ways that we can even expand what we did. And we've talked about, creating maybe more of a group that people can, collaborate, not just one time a year, but throughout the whole year. Yeah. Whether that be for venues and for, licensing opportunities for movies or whatever that may be. I think there's all kinds of ways that we can expand our ideas already. Yeah. But we also haven't even touched feature films yet. And I think that's on our list.
Oh, let's go.
Like either at the end of this year or early next year.
Yeah.
It's on my to-do board in my office. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to do that.
I think
Hopefully
that'll be
sooner
great.
than later.
Yeah, and I think like, you know, part of what I like about the music and film festivals is like there's always this evolution of things. It's like, you know, doing the music festival, this is obviously like first run out of the gate. We hadn't done that before, but it's like you watch some of these fantastic performers and you go like, oh man, they're giving me ideas for art or for a music video or whatever. It was just so exciting. So I think that that starts to contribute to a larger system of, you know, ideas or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's always fun to see where we land because I'm not sure that I even know Chaos Twins.
I know it. Yeah. There was a really cool moment though. I was watching though our contestants from Records go up to the stage and just freaking kill it.
Yeah.
You know, and I look at you and you look at me and I'm like, we did it.
Yeah. We're like, oh, this is a thing.
This is a thing and this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, I mean, of course we want to build something. We want to start something that is, you know, it's fun for us too, because, you know, I like having fun and I will put off other work, you know, sometimes to my detriment for the fun of it all, but also to see the transformation, to see what it's doing for other artists.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you can't beat that.
Yeah. I was blown away by some of the people that we met. And yeah, I mean, so behind the scenes, like usually we have like run a show, we go through this stuff or whatever, because we were so compressed on time, we have none of that.
No.
And so like, but it was great to like communicate probably from some, you know, being around each other so much where we just like knew.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple of moments where we're like going up the steps of, you know, Legends or whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is the thing. Like it's coming together in a really exciting way. Like, well, I don't know if it was, I don't know that I would call it perfect by any means, but we were there.
I know. I remember like earlier in the day, I was having all kinds of tech issues and I was trying to figure all that stuff out. And we just kind of looked at each other like, oh, this is not work. And then it did. And we had all these people around us, you know, supporting us and, you know, from, you know, our amazing judges to, you know, the film office, to our local, you know, sponsors. Everyone was there watching this thing unfold. I think it's going to become even, I mean, that was the first year. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No,
it's incredible.
It was super exciting.
So we're going to do that again.
Yeah.
We got feature films. We've got this 48. Can't wait for people to see.
Yeah, I'm pumped about it.
Yep. We got more music videos, I'm sure. Okay, so last two more things. Where can people find out more about you and your work?
So my website is the easiest place for people to see my work. So that's just jordanvineyard.com, not the winery. I'm very often confused with them. I don't have an E in my last name. That's the difference. While exciting, that's not me. I will own I'm a little bit of a social media ghost. I know it annoys you so much.
It does. I get it. Yeah. I'm jealous of it to a certain degree, but
yeah. And I would never recommend that. Like I've told several students, like, do not do that. Like I was the last wave of anybody that could possibly achieve that. But I mean, so much of my work is about physical agency. It requires physicality in the space. That I wanted to, you know, push that pony forward as much as I can. I don't know if I'll always be off of social media. If I'm not, I'll probably play with it and turn it into an art project of some kind.
Yeah.
But I am one of those people that requires this sort of insular stuff, and then, you know, it'll pop out at a show, and I want people to be surprised. Like I think a lot of humanity has lost the art of surprise. It's there so much so you're beating people over the head with it, and that's not to say that you shouldn't use those things. But for me, with that kind of demand of physical presence, it becomes part of the language of the work. So right now, I'm still doing that. We'll see how long I can persist in that. I was also like one of the last people with a flip phone, you know, and it was super annoying and I was hard to get a hold of. But Yeah. So
I just want you to get on social media so I can send you just brain rot reels.
well,
You know
and
what I
that's
mean?
exactly why I'm not on it. Is actually it's your fault.
Because I'd be
Yeah.
doing that. Like, oh, Jordan
Yeah.
would love this.
People would send me all kinds of like crunchy dogs.
Just
I would
stupid
adopt
stuff.
them
Oh,
all.
yeah, that's
I would
true.
adopt them all.
You honestly would. What's your new dog's name?
Pigeon.
Pigeon, that's right.
She's adorable.
So sick.
And she's crunchy.
Okay, last question I have.
Yeah.
How would you encourage other artists who may be watching this and who may be going down a similar path that you've gone down?
Yeah.
How would you encourage an artist like that?
I think so. I grew up in tiny Oklahoma, same as you. And I think there were moments in my existence where it's like, oh man, you feel like you're already behind, right? So you're not on the coast or whatever where the like pockets of new waves of art are. But somewhere along the way, I figured out how strange I was in those circumstances, and that stood for something too. And then I think that hard work is a huge component of it. You and I work very long hours, so I think that you cannot dismiss those things. So I would say hard work, recognize what you can contribute to a broader idea about art is important, and don't forfeit that uniqueness. And also find friends. So I'm a very small woman. I barely hit. I don't even hit 5 foot. I'm not gonna lie about that. I don't even have 5 foot. But I think what I learned along the way as a very small individual is you find big friends fast. And that kind of language of support, I think, is absolutely vital. So, connecting to others and developing support around you. Like, I cannot say enough amazing things about my team. For a long time, I tried to make artwork by myself. And then the pieces got too big for me, literally physically got too big for me. And my team is probably watching this and shaking their heads like, please make smaller work. I promise them postage stamp size work every year, and that never happens. But I think just recognizing that you have to have others around you is a really, really great way to evolve your practices, whether that's literally asking for help and being willing to ask for help, or being in a place where you recognize how others can influence you. Like I was just talking about how film has influenced me, how the musicians we brought in have influenced me. Like, I think making sure that you're open to new ideas is a really vital component too.
Yeah. I think I've found a big friend in you.
Hi, best
think
friend.
you are, yes, best friend. I think you are a powerhouse. I think you are an amazing artist, and I'm very lucky and blessed to have you in this tiny little town. It's like a random town, and I love this town. There's some very unique individuals here, though.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that our paths have crossed and we've been able to collaborate to the degree that we have.
Chaos
Twins.
Twins.
I don't know if the world can handle the Chaos Twins.
No, we've actually talked about how we should not have met because it's too dangerous.
There's a time and space warp thing that has happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for what's to come, dude. I think we're just getting started.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So I'm super
I think you
stoked
have to
for
have that perspective too, always. Of
yeah.
We're just getting started.
Oh, yeah, let's keep
no
going.
matter what you do,
Exactly.
we're just getting started.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, thank you for doing this. Seriously.
man.
I think next, in the future, I want to go even deeper on some of our projects,
Cool.
like talk about details and things like that,
Yeah.
how we overcame certain things. I think people would be intrigued by that to a certain degree. And I also just like talking about our projects and things that we get to do and stuff. So, but thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course, man.